Hi, everyone. Heather Vickery here. I am so excited to say that as of tomorrow, April 12th, the Brave Files podcast is officially one. It's amazing to look back over the last year at all of the wonderful guests we've had on. They have been so courageous coming on and sharing their truths. And I know because all of you listeners have been so wonderful about responding, giving me feedback, that you love it. Every week, you can't wait to find out what new story you'll hear and new ways to be inspired and motivated and connected with people all over the world on a really, truly human level. We received some really wonderful thoughts from a couple of you listeners, and I'd like to share those with you now. And I look forward to the next year and many more years of celebrating brave stories and courageous people with each and every one of you.
Out of all the small podcasts that are out there, I think The Brave Files is one of the most, if not the most important, because it highlights what needs to be highlighted in life, and it is a really important thing for people of relatively any age, really. I really think they should listen to this podcast. I just think that anyone not listening is doing themselves a disservice. Heather, once again, congratulations for all your amazing work, both in the podcast and just generally in your life. I wish you all the best for the many years to come of the Brave Files, and I can assure you that I will be tuning in to all the episodes.
Congratulations to the Brave Files on a year of wonderful, educational, inspiring podcasts.
The Brave Files, to me, are real stories with real people, and it always elicits a strong personal emotion.
One of the things I love about the Brave Files podcast is all of the diverse voices and perspectives that I probably wouldn't have heard from before.
I really enjoy the Brave Files for the motivation through your guests, and each episode is different and enjoyable and very motivational and encouraging. So thanks for being awesome. Your show is amazing.
My favorite thing about the Brave Files podcast is that every single episode really gets me thinking, and I always learn something new. But my absolute favorite is when, through listening to other people's stories, I learn something new about myself. I am so grateful for that part. The Brave Files keeps me grounded and connected to the world outside of my own personal experience. Happy birthday to the Brave Files!
Adventurous, magical, intuitive.
You are listening to The Brave Files, real stories from people living courageously. You can listen to the show anywhere you enjoy podcasts, and we'd love for you to subscribe, rate, and give a review on Apple Podcasts. It really does make a difference, and we appreciate it. Now here's your host, Heather Vickery.
Hey friends, this is Heather Vickery, and I am so glad that you are here with us for this episode of the Brave Files podcast. This should be a really fun show because we are joined by a woman named Jennifer S. Royal. She's a German-born professional magician. She performs all kinds of magic, close-up as well as stage shows, and she does mentalism. We're going to find out what that means because I'm not actually sure, and a bit of hypnosis. At least I know what that one is. I don't know about you, but I think it's pretty brave to perform this kind of work close up. Jennifer, welcome to the Brave Files.
Thank you so much, Heather. Couldn't wait to talk to you today.
Yeah, this has been fun. We've been working on getting this set up for quite a while now. So I would love for you to give our listeners just a little bit of a background. If memory serves me, you've been performing magic since you were 4 years old. Is that correct?
Yes, you are perfectly prepared, Heather. I had really my first contact with magic when I was just 4 years old, and a friend of my father showed me how to make my thumb disappear. And this is how it all started. And I showed this in kindergarten over and over again for hundreds of times, and also my mom and my dad. And that was everything my small hands could accomplish at that time. And when I got 7, I got my first magic set from my mom because she was seeing what I was doing. And then I locked myself into my room and tried for hours and hours to find out how to deal with all this magic props. And it was quite some challenge at the age of 7.
Sure.
But I did. And it's really like I developed a lot of this discipline and really staying focused and staying with something. You begin to bring it to an end and really to create it. And so for my whole life, I was in contact with this creativity and really bringing things to an end and finding a solution when everyone else is giving up already.
I find that really fascinating. I've never thought about the use of magic as such, as pushing through to come up with a solution. How does that relate to, I don't know, tricking the eye or tricking the mind? How does that all tie in?
Yeah, it's really, Heather, that a lot of things sum up in magic, and most people just see the entertainment, but there is so much more to it because, of course, it has to do with your fingers, it has to do with psychology, it has to do with perception, with attention and leading the attention of the audience. But it's really what a big part of magic is, that the personality.
Distraction.
Yes, definitely too. And I always call magicians the masters of distractions. And when I work on people now, teaching them what they can learn from magic, like in the field of mindset and becoming a mind magician themselves by controlling the mind and the thoughts to shape the reality as they would like to have it, I tell them that we have to do the opposite, like getting rid of all the distractions. And in a magic show, it's really easy because people are so trained to be distracted, with social media, with everything that is going on day in and day out. So it's really easy for a magician nowadays to trick them because they are so distracted. And
yes,
Heather, that there is so much power when you focus all your attention to one thing and really bringing it to an end. This is something that has almost a magical power in every area of your life.
that is absolutely the truth. As a coach, I do a lot of work with people on focus and what I call batch tasking, right? Doing only one thing at a time, getting rid of all your distractions, turn off all those notifications. I imagine if you've made a career out of this level of focus and a level of focus that causes others to be distracted is really quite something. So, can you tell us how you went from having an interest in magic, having it be a hobby, to having it become a career?
Sure, Heather. And it was really a brave path I took, especially here in Germany, where I am based, because it's completely different to be a magician in Germany than being a magician in the United States or in the UK area.
Can you tell us why that is?
I think it's because the Americans are different. They are very open to entertainment, and entertainment ranks up very high. So they spend a lot of money going to concerts and just having a good time. And when you look into Hollywood, the films are so strong compared to anything else in the world because there's this focus on being entertained and creating this entertainment. And they are more like connected with the inner child. So it's easier to break through to them and entertain them, giving them a good time. And also people from UK, they love magic. There's this whole Harry Potter at home, and a lot of big names in magic are coming from UK, and there are a lot of TV shows on magic. So it's very interesting. And in Germany, it's really, we are famous for being so serious and strict.
Yes.
Yeah. And it's true. I mean, it helps when it comes to magic because you have to sit down and practice a move over and over again for hours. So it does help. But when you're out performing, you feel the difference. So it's tough to break the ice with the Germans and really win them for you. And it's the same when you look into coaching, like in the United States, it's almost normal that every successful person has their personal coach or even several of them. And here in Germany, they are really behind that. So people look strange at you when you say, I have an appointment with my coach. They think, something must be wrong with you. And it's really this mindset. But you see where people evolve to and when they think bigger. So it's really interesting. And it's the same with magic. So I love to perform for people from the United States and from UK. It's just giving me a good time as well on stage.
Right. So, it sounds amazing. Are there many women in this field, actually anywhere, but especially in Germany?
Yeah, well, even worldwide, there are only a few professional female magicians still to this day, and no one knows exactly why. And it is the same in Germany. And there are a lot of thoughts from male magicians why that is the case, because it has to do a lot with power and also with thinking very analytical to do all of the illusions, because you have to do this reverse engineering. And this is something I teach people I work with on the mindset basis.
Yeah, I want to
like
know more about
breaking
that.
it down, going back. And I'm sure you as a coach are familiar with the concept as well. And so, yeah, it's definitely different. But as I said, it's not really clear why there are so few female. I mean, I'm kind of glad because it is my niche
Yeah.
I'm in, but no one knows.
Okay. So what did it take for you to make this a career? Like not just a hobby, but something that paid your bills?
Yeah, it took a lot. And of course, it started with a decision. So I did magic for my whole life, and I financed my 2 academic degrees with it. And then when I went into the corporate world, into TV and film, sometimes I was in the office, and then in the evening, I flew to a destination performing, and then in the night, flying back to be in the office the next morning. And I felt that I couldn't stand that for a very long time. And then, also, I guess, Heather, as a coach, that when you don't decide, life decides for you.
That's right.
And something like that happened because I lost my mom a few days before. Before Christmas, and it was really, really tough for me. And I still to this day remember the picture when I went into the hospital and saw her laying there. And I knew that this is not a time in your life when you regret the risks you have taken and moments where you have been really brave, where you could lose a lot of things. It's more that you regret the risks you didn't take.
Yeah.
And I was sure for myself that this was the last time I have seen her. And I left the hospital and decided inside of me that I will go all in now and become a professional magician, because I thought, okay, I have all my degrees, all my papers, I can always go back, but I would like to live my dream now and taking control and responsibility for my own life. And this is where I made the decision.
I love that. I'm so sorry about your loss. But yes, of course, we hear that all the time. And we did an interview months ago with a woman named Elua Arthur, who's a death doula. And we talked about what you said is the end of your life, whenever that is going to appear and we don't know, you never regret the things that you did. You regret the things you didn't do. I mean, that's not to say you may have some life regrets. I'm not saying that. But in general, most of it is about wishing you had done more. And I love that your mom inspired you to do that. I'm sure she would be incredibly, incredibly proud of you. What kind of training is required to become a professional magician, if any at all?
Yeah, still to this day, there is no university where you can really learn magic. And we know Hogwarts is just in Harry Potter.
I wish it worked, though. I love Harry Potter.
Yeah, and actually there is a really secret college close to London, what they call the real Hogwarts. And it's said that it is haunted, and it's still on my bucket list to go there. So
I want to go too. Let's go together, Jennifer. Let's go together.
Good idea, Heather. I'm in for the secret mission there. Yeah, but it's there is a magic circle. So this is the biggest magic association in Europe, and there's a magic circle London. This is a very special place, and this is where magicians gather together and exchange secrets. And then there are magic conventions worldwide, like also for coaching and social media, and you have like 2,000 magicians from all over the world, and you have sessions and workshops and an exhibition, so everything from other fields. And yeah, this is where you start. But there's also a lot of personal work involved. So like developing the illusions, coming up with the stories around it, because I always say that the magic really lives from the personality behind it. So when you are a fascinating personality, people connect with you and they are interested in learning more. So everyone can go to a magic store and buy a trick there, but that's not all. So it's just a deck of playing cards. And the magic comes in when there's an interesting story and an interesting person behind it. And I would say it's the same with coaching. So it depends on the personality behind it, because there are so many coaches out there, and some of them are really exceptional and others are just kind of bad. And it depends.
But there's someone for everyone, which I think is why entertainment, especially in the United States, is so vast, because you as a personality attract a different type of personality, right? So I'm sure you do the same thing. When I'm talking with people about coaching, it has to be a personal attachment. You have to find somebody that you really like and trust. And I always say, you're going to want to meet me for a drink or a cup of coffee, because you have to like me that much, or you won't be vulnerable with me. You won't really push yourself with me, and you won't trust me. I'm sure that that's the same situation with magic. You have to make them like you in just a split second, right? And trust you on stage.
Yes, very true. So I think in coaching, it is really, as you said, it's about building trust to step in this personal, like, kind of relationship with a coach or a mentor. And it's the same with magic on stage. You have to build trust with the audience. And I think what is quite nice with magic is that you deal with the unknown. And you know, Heather, most people are really afraid of the unknown.
Yes, they are.
And there's this saying, we don't know what we don't know. And this is where all the potential lies. But we don't have a clue how things can turn out. It's kind of magical. So we have to trust ourselves and have to trust the universe, or whatever you would place there. And in magic, it's like when you go to a magic show, you never know what happens next.
Right.
And it's live entertainment. So you're dealing with the unknown for the whole show. The magician is the only person in the room who knows what is happening next. And sometimes I think it's just a good training for people to connect or make a positive connection with the unknown, because magic is known for being uplifting and remind you that everything is possible, so that the unknown can be very positive when you let go and just trust
And believe. It's fun. I love the word magic. I love the idea of magical beings, magical creatures. I believe in the power of magic as it is in mindset. And my kids and I were talking. I have 4 daughters. Those who listen know that. I was talking to my 2 youngest. So one is 9 and one is 5.5. And the 5.5-year-old is still pretty on board. She's like, well, I know the tooth fairy is real, and I know mermaids are real. And of course, my 9-year-old is onto it, but she's agreeing. And I said, but it's a believing in these things are a state of mind. It's magic. You can choose to find the wonder. Last year, I have theater tickets. It's my passion is to attend the theater. And we had a magic show. My friend Jennifer, who I think listens to the show, and I go to the theater together 8 times a year, which is so much fun. And I have to admit, I was like, oh, a magic show. Okay, this is really how I want to spend my night. So totally just being honest. And I can't remember the name of it for the life of me, but I'm going to research it and put it in the show notes for you guys. However, it was extraordinary, because I don't know it was a play about a magician, and I don't know how he did. Maybe you can tell us the secret. He had us in the audience start texting questions or thoughts, and as soon as we were texting, it was written on a card. I'm telling you, it was crazy. So talk about believing in things that seem unbelievable. I was like, how? And then when you left, all of the questions were just posted out on the wall outside within 15 minutes of having this happen. It was just extraordinary. And it was so much fun to believe in things that seemed unbelievable.
Wow, that sounds really inspirational. So it sounds like you have been to a good show.
I know. It's silly to think that you could get inspiration from things like that, but I find inspiration in really all forms of art. So, Jennifer, I want to touch base on something. When you first started your professional career, you did not go by your given name. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct, Heather. And so this was then really one of the biggest mistakes I made in my professional career so far, because I started out with being a Magic Victoria, and that was my creation, and it worked very well. And I did a lot of very successful shows on stage, close up everything. I went to Venice, shot a film there with magic that was shown on a film festival in Munich, and really good. And then, you reach this kind of plateau and think, there must be more, and I can't accomplish this all on my own. So I decided to work with management, like an agent or artist management. And they promised me that they would organize a tour for me through Germany and maybe even Europe, and do all the big things for me, all the big shows. And I trusted them, but I didn't trust my intuition. I didn't had a good feeling at that time, but thought, okay, I have to do this now. And I signed the contract, and that was really a big mistake. So going against my intuition here, and I got all kinds of signs, like my mirror in the floor just broke down without touching it.
Oh,
and
my goodness.
yeah, was really spooky just before signing the contract. And also
I would
the
so have been
car
out
broke down.
at that. I've been like, nope, I'm not doing this.
Yeah, me too. Now looking back and connecting the dots. And it was just before I signed it that my car broke down. It just, the engine didn't go again. And it was strange. And then an hour later, it worked again. But I mean, it was a clear sign, but I did it. And they had then this idea to change my name into Victoria Mavis, because Magic Victoria wasn't professional enough. And I gave away of kind of my power, and I learned that I would never ever do that again. But I thought, okay, I have signed this contract, I have no other choice, we go about that. And really, like you can imagine, Heather, the cooperation was horrible, didn't work at all. So there was no connection on the human level, and we couldn't agree on things. So there was a fight going back and forth, and it cost me a lot of energy, and also I lost a lot of money and big shows there. But I mean, it happened, and there's always something good in it. So first, this is the reason why I came up with my own podcast, Pure Mind Magic, where I'm looking forward to have you as a guest. And I also came more, you're welcome, to myself, like having this clarity and making a transformation with the name, because everything is energy and everything has a special frequency. And I thought to myself, this name that was my idea has no good frequency, and I always had bad luck with it. So I have to let die this personality, this stage name, and recreate myself, what I would compare with the phoenix from the ashes, what is also a very magical symbol behind it. And so I decided I will go with my real name, that is Jennifer, and I kind of changed my last name that is pretty similar to S. Royal. So I came up with Jennifer S. Royal, and with my real initials JSR. And I tell you, Heather, since that time, I really feel so good. It feels so just real.
Absolutely. There is something, I'll use the word magical, and folks who listen to me a lot, or if you've ever taken my Chaos of Clarity audio course, I use the word magic. That's where the magic is, or something really magical. I use that all the time, because I think when you step into yourself authentically and you are putting yourself out there as you are made, there is real magic in that. Real magic. People respond to you so much differently, and it feels so much more natural. I think that's, of course, what people are responding to is it feels like a good fit to you. You are more comfortable with who you're putting out there because it's the truth. And then people relax. It's like you almost see their shoulders go down, and then take a deep breath, and they want to step into this space with you. And it is really something. So good for you. What was it like to get out of this contract with the other company?
So it was really tough to get out of the contract, even with lawyers involved, because it was all this bad energy and it was so out of alignment. And I'm sure, Heather, you experienced something like that before, what it means to be out of alignment. So
Oh,
then
yeah.
it's really so hard to manifest anything because you're just not in this alignment with yourself. And it is so true what you said about that people feel it when things are in alignment, when you are true with yourself. Because I see it always that we are like a radio station. So we are doing a podcast right now, but it's quite similar to radio and broadcasting out. So we are radiating out this signal, this frequency all the time. And when we feel good, when we have these good vibrations, we sending them out, and we can only attract what is on the same frequency to that, and then we will have this energetic match.
Yeah, good for you. Okay, so I want to ask about your podcast, but then I have to know more about mentalism. And I don't even know if I'm saying that properly, but really quickly, tell us about Pure Mind Magic, the podcast. What would people expect to hear on your show?
Sure. So I start with that and then also explain to you what mentalism means.
Thank you.
Of course. So I came up in this bad time with the idea, and it really hit me like in the middle of the night that I should create my own podcast. I started, of course, listening to podcasts, and then I really fell in love with them. And now I'm really like obsessed with podcasting, like I'm obsessed with magic.
Me too.
And I brought both fields together, and now helping people give better podcast performances, like what I learned from performing magic, and really bringing the worlds together. And I'm sure, Heather, that you also notice that podcasting has this magic potential because you are in a place where you can connect with the rest of the world without leaving your living room. So it's pretty amazing. And all of that became clearer and clearer for me. And so I did this, and the show got bigger and bigger. And it really was like bringing other secrets to people, because as a magician, you are obviously not allowed to share the magic secrets, how you make a car appear. So this is the magic association and the magic circle. So we protect the secrets. But there are other secrets, like you can make magic in your own life and also have all these magic moments. And as I said, like control your mind, control your focus, and focus on the things you really would like to have, do all this reverse engineering. And there are a lot of other magicians in the world that come up with brilliant things and create amazing things, write bestsellers and all of that. And so I started to reach out to all of them, like yourself, and bring them to the show and share this kind of secrets on how to create magic on the show, on this podcast. And it's a really special approach, and people like it because there's this kind of entertainment involved, and they can really learn from a magician and the magician's mindset on how to make the impossible possible, and are also able to learn from great minds on how to use our mind, our brain in a better way. And that really comes from mentalism, because mentalism is this part of magic where it has to do with our mind. So these are effects performed where you sometimes just need a pen and a paper and you can create a really big show out of it. So like predicting the future or doing telepathy or other things. So this would be mentalism. So it's less visual magic, it's more with the mind. Or for example, you think of someone and the name magically appears somewhere. So this is the field of mentalism, and for me, very close connected to what I call mind magic.
Okay, hold on, because I need to know how to do that. How do I do that? How do I think of something and make it appear? I will say this. I deeply believe in manifestation, and I put my faith, I'm not a religious person, but I am a spiritual person. And I put my faith into the universe. When there is something, I very much follow the leap and the net shall appear sort of concept. And I have some things in my life that I can pretty readily manifest when I want it. It kind of blows my partner's mind. But I want to do more of that. How do I do that?
Good question. So
you charge
I'm
people for
working.
this, right? Just a little tip.
Of course, yeah, because this is exactly what I'm working on when someone wants to work with me as the like mindset consultant behind it. And it's really this thing, how you said it. So it's creating something out of nothing. And for me, it has to do with quantum physics and combining these principles together with what I learned from magic, how you would create it as an illusion on stage, because like that, it becomes more playful. And, you know, it's easier because you don't have this attachment to it and all this pressure that like it has to work out in a specific way.
Right.
So we can do this. And it starts with picking what you really want. Yeah. So having this clarification, because clarity always leads to power.
I love that you said when you are really focused and intentional, you can make anything happen.
Yes, it's true. So magical things happen because we know this old picture that when we take all from the sun, everything in a glass into one spot, so we will create a fire. So we have this 100% energy, and when we place it into one place, it is incredibly strong against doing like 15 projects at once.
Right.
So you don't have the full energy for every single project.
Yes, I absolutely love it. I would love to know, as you've gone through this process of becoming a full-time magician, of leaving the agent you were working with and going out on your own, what has been the biggest struggle across the board for you?
That's a good question, Heather. And it was really like finding my trust again, like that I can do it from myself. First, because I was back on my own and I had this huge human disappointment there where I got all these promises and they didn't keep the promises. But then I decided for myself that I kind of make this cut, really let this other person die, like the Victoria Mavis, and come up with something new. And it had all this transformational energy for myself. And it was a process, and it was really a mind shift for me.
Good for you. Practicing what you preach is not always easy, right?
Oh, yeah.
So what would you say has been the best pleasant surprise?
I would actually say that it was the creation of the podcast. And in my book on podcasting, how podcasting can change your life, unleash endless possibilities, I tell the story how I started out again in Germany with just one German book on podcasting in the library. And as I said before, it was really, I thought, who would do a podcast without getting paid for it? And what's that all for? And then I discovered this huge magical world that was behind it, with all those opportunities, like with all this networking with these great people and talking directly to them, and all the potential in reaching the end of the world. Because so far I was limited to time and space, being as a magician on stage in that very moment, showing my illusions. And with having this podcast, I was able to create something and people could listen to it while I was sleeping. So I could create this magic, like being completely free of time and space, and like putting my magic frequency around the world.
I love that. I totally love that. And I have to admit, I love checking my podcast downloads in the morning, like who in other parts of the world was learning and becoming more brave while I was asleep. So that I totally get that. I think that's very, very cool. I am deeply rooted in the importance and value of knowing and expressing gratitude. In fact, I have a gratitude journal out, which I'm super proud of. Y'all can purchase your copy right now. But I would love to know, Jennifer, what are the three things you're most grateful for today while we're on this call?
Also, a very good question. And we know that being grateful and being in love or love in general are the highest frequencies you can be in. So I'm really grateful for my health because I'm in very good condition. I work out all the time and also try to eat healthy and be out on the fresh air. So this is for me the number one because it is the basis for everything you are doing. And you know, Heather, when you feel well, you can accomplish everything. But when you have to deal with health issues, it costs you a lot of energy and really can stop everything that is going on. And also, I'm really grateful for the freedom I have so that I can decide what to do and set all the appointments, how it works for me and what I like. So this is really incredible.
Entrepreneurial freedom is such a gift.
Yes, it is. It is. And the thing is, I'm sure when you have experienced it once, there's no way of going back because it's such a strong thing.
Depends on the personality, but I know I couldn't go back. That's for sure. All right, one more. What's one more thing you're grateful for today?
Yes, and the last is like the connections I made through podcasting because the people I'm talking to now and working together and people I got as a mentor and coach, I would never ever talked to without the podcast. So there would have been no chance for me to get so far out of the magic field, like talking with other great magicians from the world. And now I have the opportunity to work with this great entrepreneurs, business people, and also people are reaching out for me to ask myself on how I can help them with their mindset coaching. So this is really huge, and it's hard to find the right words for it.
No, I love it. Thank you for sharing that. As you move through your day, your week, your year, how do you stop and honor your successes, the things that go well, both the small things throughout the day, like having a good working internet connection so we can do this interview, or the big things like, going out on your own and starting your own business? How do you celebrate?
Well, I'm the same as you, Heather, having my gratitude journal, and it always feels good to put that down and see when I go through the pages all the things I can be grateful for and all the great things that already happened. And sometimes when I'm in a really magical moment, I just look up to the sky and say, thank you for this great time and this great moment with this great person in this perfect moment.
I love that. I love the idea. Anytime anybody says they celebrate by stopping right where they are and saying out loud that they are grateful for this thing or they're joyful to be experiencing this moment, there's so much power and magic in that. So I think we could talk for a very long time, but it is time to wrap up. So I have to ask you, what is your favorite charitable organization to support? Something that's very near and dear to my heart.
Good question. And I'm really glad and also grateful that I am part of Rotary International. And you know them because it's this American concept that came to Germany.
All right. So Rotary is your favorite charitable organization. I think that that's a great one. It's one that we have never had on the show. Why do you support Rotary?
It is because you see what happens with your money. I did a lot of things with my magic shows where I went to kids that haven't an easy life, and I did free magic shows for them, and they really loved it. And it's also that there are those projects, and when you spend money, you get this feedback and you get all the pictures because there is someone who is really working with the money. So it's not like with other organizations where you spend money and then you have no idea what's happening. And we have these meetings and then you see what really happened. And it's just a good feeling that things are really happening with your money and it's not like disappearing in a black hole.
I get that. I love that. So, Jennifer, how can people find you? Do you have any US performances coming up? If they want to talk to you about mentalism or how to tap into their mindset, how do they connect with you?
The best way is to go to my website. That is just my name, jennifersroyal.com. So that is jennifersroyal.com, where you can also reach me on LinkedIn, find me under my name. And of course, you're welcome to listen to Pure Mind Magic.
Excellent. Will you be performing in the US at any point?
I hope so for this year, and I will put this up on my website as soon as I know some exact dates.
Excellent. Well, I would love, love, love to see you in person. I think that would be fantastic. So, Jennifer, before we go, can you share your 3 words with us one last time?
Of course, Heather. And for me, it would be also a great pleasure to meet you in person because I'm such a fan of your positive, uplifting energy. This is what I love about your podcast most. It stands really out to me. And I did this even in the morning, listen to an episode of your podcast, and I felt so much better because it was a great priming for my day. So I had to say that.
Thank you.
You're
so
welcome.
much.
And now back to your question. So my 3 words are adventurous, magical, intuitive.
They're really beautiful words. They're very vivid words. Sometimes at this portion of the show, we have to describe why you selected those words, but I don't think we have to do that today. That's been very thoroughly vetted here in the conversation. What a wonderful adventure you have been on, and such a treat to hear about how you're using this magic as a profession in your life and you're building a business around it. It's so exciting. You guys, this is just a friendly reminder that Brave looks different for everyone. It's something that you can build like a habit or a muscle. It's right there waiting for you. Brave is truly magical, and it's magic you can tap into. You are magic. So I wanted to just remind you that you should grab your copy of my gratitude journal right away. You want to tap into this energy of gratitude, which, as Jennifer shared with us, is the highest form of frequency, that and love. How awesome is that? You can get it on vickeryandco.com/shop. Go check it out. It is such a fantastic little journal. Also, there's lots of content in there about the history of gratitude, how different ways you can practice it, and some personal stories on my part about how I came to practice gratitude on a regular basis. I want to connect with you. If you have thoughts on the show or you simply want to chat, feel free to reach out. All of my contact information is via the show notes. Remember to subscribe, rate, and review the show. It really does help. If you like an episode, which I hope you like them all, share it with a friend, somebody that you think might enjoy it. So thank you so much for spending this last little bit of time with us. Jennifer, I loved having you on the show. This is such a beautiful story, so much fun and inspiration. It's kind of just a unique perspective, and I am grateful that you shared it with us. Thank you for being here.
Thank you so much for your invitation, Heather.
All right, friends. Thank you so, so much for being a listener. This is Heather Vickery reminding you, as always, to choose bravely.
How long have you been waiting for the right time to make your dreams a reality? How many times have you heard yourself say, I'll start tomorrow, or I'll do it later? How often are you frozen in place because it's just too darn scary to start? I feel you. Trust me, I've been you. Once I learned to do it scared, everything changed for me, but it's not really as simple as that. Most of us don't just decide to leap and take off. We need a support system and accountability. We need systems and strategies that help guide us along the way. This is why I designed my signature audio course, Chaos to Clarity, and this is how it can help you. I've designed the perfect program that puts you in the driver's seat of your own life. The course helps you develop a roadmap for success, get into action, and feel good doing it. This month-long self-guided program is audio-based, Clearly, you like audio learning. You're here listening to a podcast right now. Of course, that means you can listen from anywhere at any time. You'll be given 16 audio lessons, a digital workbook to track your personal growth and progress, and access to weekly group coaching sessions. You'll also have a chance to earn a one-on-one session with me upon completion. We have a couple of other bonuses. You can check all of those things out on the website, but it's time for you to achieve the success that you deserve on your own terms. Chaos to Clarity will help you build the life you've been dreaming of. The course is only offered twice a year. Doors are open now, but they're going to close soon, and you won't have another opportunity until the end of the year. So don't wait. Sign up right now for Chaos to Clarity and take your life to the next level. Reserve your spot on my website. vickeryandco.com/C2C is the direct link. Again, that's vickeryandco.com/C, the number 2, the letter C. Reserve your spot today. Space is limited. Doors close soon. This program begins on April 17th, and I cannot wait to see you there. The Brave Files is proudly supported by Audible. If you enjoy listening to podcasts, you're sure to love listening to your favorite books on Audible. Get your free 30-day trial, complete with a credit for a free audiobook download today, simply by visiting audibletrial.com/thebravefiles. Again, that's visiting audibletrial.com/thebravefiles. The Brave Files is proudly supported by Lost Format Apparel, a socially conscious clothing company. You already know that homelessness is a huge problem. Over 500,000 Americans are living without shelter and millions more without consistent access to everyday basics. My friends at Lost Format know that solving homelessness is a much larger problem than any one company or person can solve on their own. It requires teamwork, sacrifice, strength, and building communities through personal and professional relationships. And isn't that exactly what the Brave Files podcast is all about? That's why I'm proud to say that the Brave Files has partnered with Lost Format, and together we're working to change the face of consumerism in addressing homelessness. You can now get one of 2 fantastic shirts custom designed specifically for the Brave Files. Each order goes towards providing necessities to the homeless. We have one shirt that, of course, says "Choose Bravely," and another that reminds you that brave is always greater than fearless. Head on over to vickeryandco.com/store to see both beautiful shirts and to check out the entire product line from Lost Format. All of their stuff is super soft and comfortable and has an amazing fit. Use promo code BRAVE to get 10% off of your Brave Files custom t-shirts. And if you have an order over $30, your shipping is free. I choose bravely to take the plunge to help solve homelessness. Are you with me?
Thank you for listening to The Brave Files. Be sure to visit thebravefilespodcast.com to access the show notes and discover fantastic bonus content. Music composed and produced by Matt Lewis of Union Music, LLC.
Special thanks to our editor and audio mix expert, Andrew Olson. I am eternally grateful for all that he does to make each week sound so fantastic. You can hear more of Andrew's work at findandrewolson.com.